Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm going to read you some of my poetry. And I just came up with another poem there about 10 minutes ago. I just came up, 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 I just came up. Ah, 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 ah. I just came up with a poem there about 10 minutes ago. And I thought about the Passion of Christ. I thought about the film. I thought about the film, The Passion of Christ. I thought about the film, The Passion of Christ. And the scourging at the pillar, the scourging at the pillar, the scourging at the pillar, the scourging, the scourging, the scourging, the scourging. The scourging at the scourging, the scourging. I was thinking about, I was thinking about I was thinking about the scourging at the pillar in the film The Passion of Christ. And Jesus Christ 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 kept standing up. He kept trying to stand up and they kept whipping him and whipping him and whipping him until he fell down again, until he fell down again, and then he stood up again, and then he tried to stand up again, and they whipped the shit out of him until he fell down again, and they kept fucking whipping him until he fell down. And eventually, I don't think he could get up anymore. I don't think he could get up anymore. And then they nailed him to a fucking cross. Then they nailed him to a cross. The holy crucifixion, the holy crucifixion. But he rose from the dead. He rose from the dead, went to see all his friends to drink red wine. He went to see all his friends to drink red wine after he rose from the dead. Now, at the moment, I'm thinking. At the moment, I'm thinking. At the moment, I'm thinking. At the moment. At the moment, I'm thinking that people are trying to bring me down again. At the moment, I'm thinking. Yeah. At the moment, 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 at the moment. At the moment. At the moment, I am worried that people, I am worried at the moment, 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 I am worried that people are trying to bring, that some people, only some people, only some people, I am worried that some people are trying to bring me down again like the Twin Towers. I am worried that people are trying to bring me down again like the Twin Towers in New York, Manhattan, New York, Manhattan, 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 New York. And please God, they won't bring me down like the Twin Towers. Please God, they won't bring me down like the Twin Towers. Now I'm going to read you some of my poetry. Yeah. No. There is. This is one of my poems. This is one of my poems, and it is called Wrong and Right. It is called Wrong and Right, written by Damien Leech on the 23rd of January 2006. It goes as this: Wrong is wrong and right is right. Wrong is wrong and right is right. Wrong is wrong and right is right. Wrong is wrong and right is right at all times in all sorts of crimes. That includes bribes. That includes bribes. A man for all seasons, a man for all seasons, he had his reasons. This is another poem. This is another poem. This is another poem. Some of my poems Some of my poems are in my book Escape Velocity Extended, which is currently published on Kobo.com. My book Escape Velocity Extended is published on Kobo.com. And if you put Damien Leech into the search engine of Kobo.com, you will find among my other books the book Escape Velocity Extended. And in my book Escape Velocity Extended, you will find some of my poetry along with the rest of my novel if you want to read it. Now, I'll tell you another poem that's in this book. I've written several books. You can look them up on Cobra.com. I've written loads of stuff. So this is another poem, and it is called Lonely Leprechauns. Lonely Leprechauns by Damien Leech, 23rd of January 2006. The leprechaun was looking for his pot of gold. Where it was, he wasn't told. They kept moving it on him, and he went crazy. Mrs. Mrs. Leprechaun got fed up and left him. So the leprechaun went to the pub every night, got drunk and would sometimes fight. It just wasn't right. His gold he wanted, which shone so bright. Another poem that I wrote in 2005 is the poem Stress. It's called Stress. Written by Damien Leech in the summer of 2005. Hmm. Some people Some people put me, Damien Leech, into psychiatric hospital against my will in 2005. On the 1st of June 2005, I was put into psychiatric hospital against my will. On the 1st of June 2005, I was put into psychiatric hospital against my will, and I was not able to work at my job, which I had a contract to work at teaching English for the summer of 2005. But some people put me into psychiatric hospital against my will in 2005, and they made me take medication that I did not want to take, and I got very, very sick. But eventually I got out of hospital, and in 2006 I travelled with my girlfriend, a German girl, to Porto, Portugal, on the northwest of Portugal, and I had a fucking great time. I had a fucking great time. Now I'll tell you, this is my joke that I wrote. Now this is my poem. This is my poem that I wrote in 2005, the summer of 2005. It's called Stress. It's called Stress. And it goes, stress, 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 stress. I need a woman in a red dress. Now that's that one. The bee is up on each. Oh, jeez. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus. Hmm. This is another poem that I wrote. It is published in my book, Escape Velocity Extended, which is published on Kobo.com. One of my books is called Escape Velocity Extended, and in this book that's published on Kobo.com, among my other books, you will find some of these poems. But I have written other poems, as well, and some more of my poems are also published on Kobo.com. So if you go to Kobo.com and put into the search engine of Kobo.com, if you put Damien Leech into the search engine of Kobo.com, you will find some of my books. Now here is another poem that I wrote about my grandfather. I wrote this about my grandfather, Jim Flanagan, who was an alcoholic. He was an alcoholic, but he was also a genius. And I think he suffered from terrible depression, which is why I think my poor grandfather kept drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking because he suffered from terrible depression, and I think he was drinking to kill the pain. Poor Jim, poor Jim. But this is a very good poem which tries to describe my brilliant grandfather, Jim Flanagan. My poem goes as follows. My grandfather Jim, a pint of Guinness and a whisky chaser in O'Flaherty's pub. High political conversations across the bar. 3 newspapers. My grandfather owned an antique shop, but he lived in the pub. He employed a salesman for the pub. The salesman would come up to the pub. How much will I sell that chest of drawers for, Jim? I'll sell it for 100 and bring me the money. When the pub closed, he would go home to his wife, May Flanagan. He would have a strong cup of tea. Now this poem is about my Granny May Flanagan, and it goes as follows. Written by Damien Leech. My Granny May. Damien, here's 50. Damien, here's 50. Go up to the off licence. Get me a naggin of whisky and a packet of purple silket. Get yourself cigarettes and a couple of beers. I would come back and we would sit by the fire chatting or watching action movies. She loved action movies. My next poem is about my father's mother, Smoky Granny. My poem goes as follows. My poem goes as follows. My poem goes as follows. It is called Smoky Granny. Smoky Granny, she lived in Ranelagh. She lived in Ranelagh in Dublin, in the Republic of Ireland. The poem goes as follows. It's very short. It goes as follows. 80 cigarettes a day. 80 cigarettes a day. 80 cigarettes a day. 80 cigarettes a day, and the Irish Times. So what do you think of my poems?